This episode is brought to you by Pentester Academy, the leader of online cybersecurity education. Join more than 10,000 professionals from over 120 countries to learn security online. I am Damien from Pentester Academy TV, and I want to welcome you to another episode of The Toolbox, where we showcase the latest and greatest open source tools. Add them to your tool collection today. Let's take a look at Recomap by Santiago.
Hello everyone, my name is Santiago, and I'm going to be presenting pentesting automation with Recomap. Before starting the presentation, I want to thank Damian and Pentester Academy for this opportunity. So let's get started. A little bit about me. I'm Recomap's founder, together with my brother Pablo. I've been doing software engineering for more than 20 years, and I've been always interested in cybersecurity. So I remember being 18 years old, joining many of the Linux user groups in Argentina, and seeing one guy that was, I think, 14 years old, so younger than me, writing a port scanner in C. And since then, I always been hooked to security, low-level programming, network programming, etc. So that was the start of my interest in cybersecurity. My profile on GitHub can show you some of the things that I have been developing over the last 2 decades, things to do with network programming or game programming, and cybersecurity as well. And this is a little bit about the origin of Recomap. Essentially, after doing 2-3 pen test reports, I realized I was repeating myself. So I was repeating the same commands again and again, maybe changing an argument or two. And I needed to automate that. So you know, software engineers are lazy. So I found an opportunity to automate that. And many security engineers write scripts, but I wanted to take that and make it even a bigger solution. So I also noticed many teams, many pen tester teams, the team were collaborating inefficiently. So they were maybe having documents and scripts in different places, on Google Drive, on GitHub, and other places, and it was ineffective. And also they were communicating between themselves and with the customer in very inefficient ways. And that's how I thought it was good to start with something like Recomap. So our mission is to accelerate the time it takes to do vulnerability assessment and pen testing. And we do that through the use of templating, automation, and machine learning. So something that a pen testing project that might take typically weeks could go down to days, or something that takes days could go down to hours, potentially, thanks to this. And our approach essentially is the use of templates, like I mentioned before. So we can template the commands that you execute. You can template the vulnerability, so you write the descriptions once, and you can use it many times. The same with projects. You can create a project template that contains many different tasks, and you can reuse that for different clients. And then automation and machine learning. So instead of typing the command in the console, capturing the output, uploading to a server and processing those results, the Recomap does everything for you automatically. With machine learning, we can assign severities or risk automatically based on information that we have from 1,000 previous other vulnerabilities. So as a result of all of that, the pen testers spend more time doing the fun thing. So doing the hacking, the research, and less time doing the repetitive, boring, or tedious work, such as parsing files manually or handcrafting pen test report for the client. So because I personally don't enjoy styling a Word document to make it look good. I enjoy using my tools, my knowledge to break into a system. And many people in InfoSecurity or cybersecurity feel the same way. So Recomap today is 1 year old. It's open source and software as a service. So even this presentation is open source. So it's written in LaTeX and it's available on GitHub if somebody wants to use LaTeX for the presentation. And this is again connected to the previous point. So I don't like to spend too much time making something look pretty. I think it's better to spend the time like doing what is more valuable. So using my knowledge to secure systems. So it's everything is available. It's open source. So the different components of our system, so the front end, the back end, and CLI tool, etc., is all on GitHub. And also SaaS, software as a service. So if you are a professional or a company, you can go and start a subscription on Recomap.com. And with that comes some benefits. We have a small but growing community. So people reach out to me and others on a weekly basis. So they connect to us on Gitter to chat, or they open tickets on GitHub with suggestions or issues. And I receive also emails from people reporting that they are using Recomap in production in different parts of the world, which is, of course, very exciting. And it's something that motivates me and motivates others to keep developing the tool. In terms of the feature set, essentially, you have in one place all the things that you need to manage your client, so the list of your clients, the projects for those clients, or the engagements for those clients, the tasks that you need to do for each one of the projects, everything in one place. So instead of having, say, Trello and Google Drive and many other tools all combined, you can go to Recomap and do it in one place. You have the templating again, so you can template vulnerabilities, projects, and commands. And once you have the templates, you can reuse them many times, and the time savings come from here, of course. So then you have automatic pentest report generation, so you can generate your pentest report in multiple formats. And again, you don't need to spend too much time styling, because every report generated is going to be consistent. If you want to change the colors or change the cover, you can do that as well. So to make it look like the way you want, but you do that only once. Another feature is the command line interface, the CLI. So you can run Recomap or RMap in the command line, and that gives you access to all the things that you have on the server. So you can find a command that is on the server, or find a task complete from the command line, similar to the GitHub command line. So you also have the REST API, and essentially, if there's something that is not already in the product, you can integrate our API with other products, so you can write your scripts and integrate everything together. And something that has recently been added is the browser terminal. So before this was in the software, in the product, you needed to go to your machine or a server and run the commands manually. But you needed to leave the browser and go to the console. Now from your browser, you can have a terminal that launches the command automatically, and that's the same thing that I mentioned before: capturing the output, uploading the output to the server, processing information on that output, etc. So all without leaving your browser. So if you don't have your PC, if you're traveling, but you have Recomap, you can do the same thing that you will do remotely or from the browser and securely. Recomap has been developed from the day one to be scalable, so you can use Recomap for solo teams or individuals, so you can have large teams, large projects with many customers, tasks, vulnerabilities, and it's not going to slow down. And then there are many other smaller features, like a dashboard with the statistics, different roles like admin, client, and so on. You can store documents. You can use Markdown for your descriptions. You have an audit log with everything that has happened in the application. You can search. You can tag items, and then you can jump to everything that has been tagged with the same label. You can export and import data between Recomap instances or between different products or projects. There is one big contributor to Recomap, Noraj, and he developed something to port vulnerabilities and projects from Pondoc to Recomap, just to say an example. So who is it for? I think anyone in InfoSec will benefit from using Recomap. So blue, purple, and red teams, pen testers, bug bounty hunters, ethical hackers, everyone really, security researchers, and it can be individuals or teams. And this is because it's so flexible. So it comes with some predefined project templates, but you can create your own, so to suit your needs. Now, this is the high-level, step-by-step process to work on a pen testing with Recomap. So essentially, imagine you have a new client, a new customer, so you go to Recomap and add it, if it's not already there. Then you create a project from scratch or a template. So if it's from scratch, you need to define the project, the task for that project, and so on. You also define the start date, the engagement end date, and so on. Or you can use a template, and the template will come with all the predefined tasks. So step by step, what you need to execute. So you complete the task for that project, and sometimes that might be ask the customer to sign an NDA, or ask the customer for the scope for this project, things like that don't require any technical work. But many tasks are linked to a command. So one task might be find all the open ports on the project, and that's going to be linked to Nmap. Nmap is going to again run the command, gather information, and upload it to the server. Then the fourth step is, I think, is the most important one, and it's the one that requires most of one's abilities. Essentially, the tools can report many things, but there are going to be many false positives, and it's the pen testers or the InfoSec professional job to triage and confirm which ones are valid, which ones are invalid, which ones included in the report or not. And then the last step is you generate the report and you share it with the customer. So you can share it in two ways. You can send the report via email, a PDF version to the customer, or you can invite the customer to log into Recomap and see his or her project on the platform. Yeah, some screenshots, but essentially this is the client list. I have 4 clients here, the details for that client, and then typically when you set up a client, you also set up a user for that client. So that say dear customer user can only see projects that belong to him or her. Then you set up the project using again one of the existing templates or from scratch. Projects include information such as the engagement, dates, rules, the assets or the target for that project, the task, vulnerability found, any notes that you want to leave, attachments like screenshots and so on. Here I'm on the task tab, and you can see there are four tasks. The top one has been done, has been completed. Second one is in progress, doing, and other 2 left to do. And here is this instruction. So this is a command or a task that is linked to the Nmap command, and I have the instructions of the things that I need to do, and I can copy that and paste it into the terminal. But the other thing that we have developed is this integration with the terminal. Essentially, instead of going to your machine, pasting that command, you can now from the browser go to the terminal tab, hit a button, and that's going to execute Nmap for you. And you are going to have an opportunity as well to interrupt the command, do something in the console, resume the command, etc. Yeah, the step number 4, as I mentioned before, is the one that requires your hacker brain. So and the customer really pay us for this part. So they don't pay us for styling a document or making it look pretty. They pay us for the job of finding vulnerabilities, confirming those vulnerabilities, exploiting them, and then creating a report. So this is the most important task, and you can rely on manual tasks, or you can rely on other tools. But this is an important step. And of course, you can, for each one of the vulnerabilities found, you can confirm them, resolve them, close them, and so on. This is just a preview of the pentest report, and you can have different revisions for it. For say you create a first version of the report with a number of vulnerabilities. Then days after you find more. Then you change a little bit the style of the report from the configuration, and then you create a new revision and you send that revision, the final version, say, to the customer. Now the architecture. So essentially, this is high-level architecture. It's not complete, but on the left side, we have the security tools. and we have integration for many security tools, and every week we add support for more. We have the command line application written in Golang. This is the one you execute manually, you invoke manually from the terminal. We have the Recomap D service. This is an agent that is always running on a machine of your choice, so you can put it on your machine, you can put it on a server in the cloud, on anywhere you want really. It's also written in Golang, and this is the component that is listening for instructions. So from the main application, from the API. Essentially, if you are on the web client and you say, I want to run Nmap or something else, from the browser, it's going to send that instruction to the Recomap D service. And Recomap D service is going to launch the command and do all the execution. We also have the REST API written in PHP 8. We have the MySQL 8 database where all the information is stored. We have a Redis service, and we use it for caching, excuse me, and for queuing. So instead of making the user wait when a report is being generated or when a command runs, we put things in a queue, and we have a background job that is picking things from the queue, executing them, and then using the notification service, we let the user know that something has completed. So instead of the user having to refresh the browser every time something completes, without doing anything, everything happens in the background. We push a notification using WebSockets to the client, and you see a notification bell. And we also have a web client written in React and a mobile client written in React Native. We are considering writing a desktop application as well using Electron. And the main benefit of using Electron is going to be that you're going to be able to use the graphical user interface for Recomap even if you're offline. So you're going to be able to, say, download the application, download all your project, your task, maybe going offline for a number of hours or days, but continuing doing work. And once you are back online, that information is going to be pushed to the server and synchronized. Yeah, and speaking about other features that are coming, so we are going to be introducing more complex workflows, because this is something that some users have reported. So imagine you have a team with juniors and more senior pen testers, and the senior pen tester might want to review the work of the junior ones. So that's going to be possible in the future with Recomap. So having that ability to review the work of the junior or any other colleague. We also want to have an independent customer portal. So at the moment, if you want to let a customer view the project before it's completed, you can invite him to Recomap with the client role, and they can see the information on the web. But it's the same web application that the rest of the users have, and it was not designed for customers, so it's not maybe as nice and as friendly as it could be for a businessman, for a business person. So for that reason and for security reasons as well, we want to decouple or separate these two applications. To have the one for pen testers or the professionals, the team, and another one for the customer. That is going to be much simpler, nicer, and so on. Easier to understand. Another thing that is coming is secret management, because again, we don't want teams to go and use 20 different tools to do their job. We want as much as possible to stay in the same place, because that's going to make them more productive. And at the moment, many teams are storing their secrets, so keys, password to customer service, things like that, in external services, which is fine, but they are going to have the option to store those same secrets in Recomap. So without going to another platform, they are going to have all the information available, and they're going to be able to plug those secrets into the command they run. And of course, more things that are coming are integration with more tools. So I have my Twitter account, and every day I find 2 or 3 interesting commands to integrate with. So this is a continuous thing. So there is always somebody developing a nice tool, and Toolbox have published many of those. So we need to keep integrating. So if you like what we do and you want to get started, there are two options. So you can use the manual setup. So you can follow the instructions on a README file, and essentially it's going to tell you that you need to install Docker Compose, and Docker Compose is going to run all the different services without you having to install the dependencies. It's all contained in Docker. That's easy to install. It's more difficult to maintain because when there are upgrades, sometimes the upgrades require making changes to the database. So if you don't have internal knowledge about Recomap, it might be difficult to do so, or time consuming at least. But it's possible, and it's of course open source, free to use, etc. And we offer support via chat. So if you have any questions or trouble setting up Recomap, you can go to Gitter and ask questions. The other option, if you have a larger team and you don't want too much time spent on setting up Recomap, you can use the SaaS offering, which is affordable, it's ready in minutes, and you have also support via phone or email. And you're always going to be running the latest version. Yeah, staying in touch, so you can stay in touch with us on those different URLs, and of course you can visit Pentester Academy or Late Learning Resources. You can also follow Damian on Twitter. And we are now going to see a demonstration of Recomap.
And I'm going to show you how to use command automation in Recomap and how to generate a report. First, I'm going to log in. I'm going to create a basic client. Contact name and email are required fields. Now that I have a client, I'm going to create a user. This user is going to be of type client. So users of type client can only see their projects and nothing else in the platform. So I need an email for that user and a username as well. The password for this user is going to be sent to that email and it's going to be auto-generated. So I have a user, I have a client. I can have a look at the list of commands, search for commands that I could use, etc. But before doing that, I'm going to create a project using one of the existing templates. So we have these templates. Let's say the client is going to be pen tested on a Linux box. So I'm going to create a template from this one for the test client and using the default values for the rest. So it comes with 3 different tasks, but I'm going to add a new one. It says run barb and link it to the barb command. Another one that is run Nessus and the same. Okay, so I have my task defined for the project, some that came with the template, some that I added. Of course, no vulnerabilities and no targets. Let's say I want to run, or I run Nessus on the background, and I want to upload the output. So if I go to one of my test files, upload, and you can see here I have now an alert. 5 vulnerabilities have been found. I can see those here. Perfect. I can do the same with barb. I can upload one of my test files, and there is another notification. 17 vulnerabilities have been found. Great. But this is all running the tools separately or independently from outside Recomap. One thing that we have added recently is the ability to run commands from within the browser. So for this particular one, run port scanner that is linked to the nmap command. I can copy this and paste it into the terminal, or I can run it on a browser terminal. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear this and run it. So it has opened a terminal, launch the nmap command against this host, and once that completes, it's going to upload the results to the server. So you can see here straight away, for vulnerabilities have been found. If something goes wrong with the command, I can do something here in the terminal. Let's say I want to inspect the output. I can inspect the output. I can open my editor, do whatever I want. Okay, so that's the project with a bunch of vulnerabilities. Like in previous versions, I can generate a report that contains all that information, so findings, solutions, severities, etc. And this is the end of the demo. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration. This is something that you can try yourself if you visit demo.recomap.org. The credentials are available in our website, recomap.org as well. So you can try different users, different projects, etc. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Santiago, for the presentation and the demo on Recomap. Recomap has been around for 1 year plus, as per your presentation. Before, you listed out all the pain points that you created this tool for. When you started building this tool, what's the biggest hurdle when you build it to this beta version when you started it?
Yeah, so I think the difficulty was to consolidate all the different command outputs. So every different tool has different outputs. Some can echo the output in JSON or XML, and those are easy to parse. But many tools output arbitrary things to the standard output, and those things are more difficult. So finding a way to parse any arbitrary command was one of the first hurdles. And of course, creating the community. So at first, nobody knows you, nobody knows the tool, and finding the first user took us some time. So I think it was only after the 4 or 5 months that we start to see some activity from the community. Before then, it was a bit lonely. But now we're in a much better place, and we see activity on a regular basis, and that's helping us keep going.
Yeah, I presume so. Building your own community, to help you out to continue to build a more comprehensive tool and stuff like that is going to take quite a big time and long time, as you mentioned. I think that's quite a big hurdle. And as you mentioned in your presentation, that your community has grown. You mentioned it's small. I don't think it's small. I think it's kind of big right now. And you also, you guys have already come out with, in your presentation, some of the coming features that is going to be happening for the tool. As for you yourself, you have been, creating the tool from day 0 till now. Is there any aspect that you think is priority in terms that you would like the community to help you to build on?
Yeah, so I think the main thing is for people to try it, so that you don't need to be an expert on anything, but you need to be willing to try it and share your feedback. So I don't mind to receive criticism, like feedback about the tool. It's super important to receive feedback. So that's the first thing. Try the tool. If the setup process is difficult, report that to the team, and we will try to make it better. If you want to contribute with the documentation, you are more than welcome. And of course, if you have coding skills or scripting skills, you can help us integrate with more tools. Maybe if you are the author of a tool, you can help us integrate with your own tool, and that will benefit everyone. Those are ways to contribute. The main ones, I would say.
Is there anything that in the tools that you think that is not in there yet and you want to build it?
The thing that I mentioned, I think we have the pentest report generation, so the report generation ability is already there, and it generates in multiple formats. But I would like to let the user create any report that they like. So include any statistics, include any charts in the report, like completely freely. And we are exploring ways to do that at the moment. So that's one thing. More automation. So I mentioned the CLI, the command line tool.
Yep.
The agent or the service that is always running, and the terminal. But I would like to be able to launch machines on demand. So without having, imagine you have the web application running, but you don't have any servers until you run the first command. And when you run the first command, you launch an instance on AWS or Azure Cloud, and then when the command finishes, the instance is shut down. So it's something that we are considering to do. So to minimize the cost also of running the tool. So have only the resources that you need at any given time.
Okay, fair enough. I think what you have built, in terms of the tool and your community that has been using the tool, and I do hope that through this program, more people can utilize your tool, to give you more feedback on the tool and contribute back to your tool. And I hope anybody that watched this video really give you a very positive or constructive feedback on your tool and make it even more comprehensive. It's not going to be 1 year, so it's going to be longer, that this tool is going to live on, and more like that. And thank you so much for coming on board for your presentation of your tool and taking the time off to explain how your tool works. And we do hope that our viewers, our audience will reciprocate to reach out to you to discuss with you more with regards to your tools. Thank you so much, San Diego.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, San Diego, once again for coming on board to this episode of the Toolbox. For more information on this tool, do see our description box below. Subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for the next episode of the Toolbox.